Hi guys, got you here bringing you a brand new Black Ops 3 video. Today, I really want to just start a series where it doesn't really matter what I play, what game type or how well I do. I just really try and raise some talking points to get people's brains moving and thinking. Today I want to talk about the EU vote. To EU or not to EU? That's the big question that's been on all Brits' minds for the past year almost, especially the 6 months. And I'm not here to try and convince you to remain in the EU or to leave in the EU. I'm not educated enough in these matters to do that. Although I do notice there's a lot of people that do think they're educated enough and are constantly trying to convince you either way. And this is something that really pisses me off. The whole way this voting system has been handled, and it's going the same way in America with Trump and Hillary, it's really disgraceful. I mean, you have one side in the news constantly slandering the other side and trying to convince those that want to leave, and then you've got the ones who remain who are slandering the leave side and trying to convince you to remain. I mean, no matter what you do, you're in the wrong. And I just don't think the way things are done now are right. And I don't think that's the voting system, because the voting system is a fairly simple democratic idea of all the people vote for what they want. Makes complete sense, right? Where the breakdown comes is in the fact that a lot of people aren't aware of how conniving the media are. I mean, let alone the government. Let's talk about the media. It's the media's job to sell papers. It's the media's job to get viewing figures on their TV shows, i.e. the news. The news wasn't there to basically give everyone the information that's going on around them. It was there because it's an entertainment program on entertainment channels to entertain people. And when you actually read the papers, I mean, today on the Sky News app, out of the nearly 20 stories that are on the front page, over 11 of them were based around Brexit. Even though there's other stuff going on in the world, there's important stuff, not so important stuff, whatever it is, it's constantly shoved in your face to pressure people to making a decision. And when people are pressured, they tend to make rash decisions. And if you want to know what I want to do, I don't know. I don't bloody know what I want to do. Do I want to leave? Do I want to go? I don't know. I've got basically half people I know wanting to remain and the other half wanting to leave. I know people who are wealthy who want to stay in the EU. I know people that aren't wealthy who want to leave. I also know people that are wealthy that want to leave, and vice versa. I mean, it's so confusing. And whenever I have a conversation with people about it, which as of late, I try and do that less and less. Like, I'm so fed up with talking about this that it's unbelievable. I mean, it's just all vote, get it done with, and be done with it, because no matter what's going to happen, there's going to be a big selection of people that are unhappy with the vote. If we decide to remain in the EU, all those that want to leave are going to be extremely dissatisfied, and vice versa. All those that want to remain or leave are going to be equally as unhappy. And I think it's great for the country in some respects. I think, in my honest opinion, I think as a 29-year-old male, I've never really been without the EU. I've never really had the choice to do anything about being in the EU. I mean, there's pros and cons to every side, and there is literally pros and cons to every side. No matter what you do, there's some positives, and no matter what you do, there's some negatives. And what that means is there's no right or wrong answer. And humans are constantly looking for the right or wrong answer. They're constantly looking for confirmation to confirm what they think is correct with everyone else, because as individualistic as humans are, and as individualistic as we are nowadays with social media and materialism and all these sort of things and capitalism, the more people get individual, the less we forget about the tribal mentality that we have, which is the group mentality. And that's where leaders came from. I mean, the whole concept of one man leading or one woman leading a whole entire nation is kind of absurd in this day and age. You know, that we pick one person who we think is so damn good that they get to speak for the rest of us. And that's where the breakdown in communications happen, because of capitalism, commercialism, and conglomerates have basically taken over the world. Corporations have taken over the world. And this is something that worries me about the EU vote. What worries me is when you see all this propaganda, and let's face it, people, anything in the news is propaganda, but anything in the news that's trying to convince you of something, that's 100% propaganda. That is just the same as Joseph Goebbels making his pro-Nazi propaganda in World War II. And I'm not saying that we're going to stop, once we vote, we're going to have genocide. That's not what I'm saying at all. What I'm saying is that it's the same principle of people making propaganda, especially nowadays with the media. You can make entertaining propaganda, like really entertaining propaganda. Now, the big question is, where do you go if you want to try and find the real information? Because the real information's out there, and you've really got to search hard, and you've got to know what you're talking about to find it. But YouTube's a great place to start. Social media's a great place to start. Oh my god. Oh my god, I nearly got so many kills in. The internet is a great place to start. Why? Because as much as there's some real nasty, trolly motherfuckers on the internet, which there's a lot of them. There's a lot of people that have got the big boots on. There's a lot of people in life who wear the big boots who can't actually go through with what they threat. The internet is far worse. I mean, just playing Call of Duty, I get messages daily, especially when I do well, and especially since I've started YouTube. I get messages, especially when I beat someone, saying, you're shit, you're this, you're that. If they hear my voice and I'm an older man, I've got a deep voice, they instantly go to paedophiles. I mean, the young children of this world, especially the internet-based ones, are so far from what we were when we were kids. I mean, some of the things kids say on Call of Duty, on the internet, on Twitter, on YouTube, I mean, I wouldn't have had the guts to say that as a kid, because when I was a kid, you'd have to say it at someone's face and you'd get a slap. As simple as that. You'd get a slap, your parents would be told, you'd be in trouble. That's as far as it goes. But the internet is this really strange place where it's kind of like a new civilization. If you look at the way it's going, it's very much like a new civilization. I mean, the internet's still trying to find its feet. There's still no rules. I mean, ISPs, internet service providers, are starting to block websites like Pirate Bay, Kick-Ass Torrents, streaming sites, anything that you can get hold of things illegally, they're trying to block. And the reality is they can't, because there's proxies, there's all these ways around it, simple ways, hard ways, complicated ways. The internet is so unpoliceable that I think it really puts the fear of God into politicians, into governments. And if you watch TV, and I admit I watch very little TV. I try not to watch TV because when you compare it to the internet and internet shows, whether you're talking on Netflix, whether you're talking YouTube, whether you're watching real people on Twitch do real shit, the internet is just far more entertaining. The TV agenda, especially as I studied film and television at uni, spent 3 years learning about it, and the whole industry is set up to make money. Like, that's all it's about, is to make as much money as possible. Oh, hang on, I'm near wraps, so I've got to concentrate. Oh no. Oh, I just got to get one kill. I'll get back to subject in a second. No! Oh, I choked the wraps. And what was I saying? Yeah, the internet is a great place to find the information you want, but you have to search. You have to go on websites like LiveLeak. LiveLeak is a website that essentially is unfiltered news. And I say that loosely because whenever humans get their hands on anything, whether it's footage, an article, human words, a recording, audio, whatever it is, it can be tampered with and it can be presented in a way that is pro or against the agenda it is following. So for example, I studied documentary. When I studied film and TV, it was the documentary pathway I went to. And with documentary, I went into it because I love documentary. The reason I studied documentary is because I used to watch mostly documentaries when I was a kid. I used to think documentaries are the be-all and end-all of legitimate information. And then I went to uni and I realised that everyone has an agenda. Everyone has an agenda, whether it's the writer, the director, the cast. It doesn't matter who it is, they have an agenda and they push that agenda. And some people subconsciously push agendas. So you have to watch things with an open mind. And You can't just, for example, I had someone say, "Oh, did you watch the Brexit video?" It was on Facebook, and I didn't, and it was great. It was really convincing. But if you go watch anti-Brexit video, it is also brilliant and convincing. You need to watch multiple things and read multiple arguments to try and come up with an ideology, to try and come up with your own sense of belief, your own sense of worth, and understanding what's really going on by reading every party, middle, left and right. You need to. But we also live in a world where there's really only left, right and middle. You know, that's all there is. There's no other options to choose from. There's just 2 or 3 options. That's not many. I mean, when it comes to voting, you got to think, if you're a politician running for parliament, so there's 4 of you running, or in America at the moment it's basically whittled down to 2. I mean, you've got a 50-50 chance of winning the election. That's a staggering number. You know, I wish I had a 50-50 chance of getting jobs, or 50% chance of getting this or getting that. I mean, that's a massive number, and you've got a really good chance of being president when it comes to 50-50. The whole Donald Trump thing worries me, and that's a conversation for another video. But the point I really want to just get across in this video is, when you're talking to people about voting or religion or politics, all these taboos we're not supposed to talk about, just talk about them with an open mind and be accepting that other people have a thought process, and that thought process carries what they do and think through. I mean, I'm not going to try and convince anyone, you or anyone, how to vote. You vote how you vote. But make sure you do the research, because people who vote blind are worse than people that don't vote. That's all I've got time for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you've learned something. I hope you enjoyed this rant. I had to just get it off my chest, because every time I read the news, Facebook, Twitter, it's just everywhere, and it really pisses me off. But that's all we've got time for. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. It really helps the channel grow. See you later, guys. Bye.